In this video, I'm gonna give you all one thing I would do differently if I could go to basic training today.
Is this Jody?
I went to basic training 18 years ago. It's a long time ago. A lot of stuff has changed, but the core of it is still pretty much the same. Essentially, they're trying to instill some discipline, some independence, and some confidence. I didn't have any of those when I went to basic training, but the last one, most importantly, I didn't have any. I was a scared little boy, and I would overcompensate with like false bravado and an unnecessary attitude. So if I had the chance to do it over again, I would get out of my own way. I was with my daughter the other day and she wanted to hang out with one of her friends who lives down the street. She said, "Hey daddy, can you go down the street with me so I can knock on the door and ask her friend to come out?" And I said, "No baby, that's your friend. If you want her to come out, you need to go knock yourself." And she became overwhelmed with fear of knocking on his door. And I was like, "What are you afraid of?"
The only way you're gonna be able to get what you want is to get out of your way right now.
A lot of times when we meet an obstacle, we always look at the external stuff and we say that that's the reason why we can't get over this obstacle.
What happened? There's a wasp. Is the wasp why you're scared? Or are you scared because you don't want to knock?
We say things like, "I'm not strong enough, I'm not fast enough, it's my skin color, I'm too fat, I'm too skinny." We say all these external things, but the biggest obstacle is internal. So how do we get out of our own way? It's not easy, but I think I have two things that'll help you get out of your own way. Now, one is really easy. I'm gonna talk about that one first, but the second one, it's a little bit more complicated, but do not skip the video because I think I can change your life with it. So one is becoming more competent. When I went through basic training 18 years ago, there was nothing I could do to prepare for basic training. We didn't have any guides. We didn't have any online apps that could tell us what to do. I just had to watch movies, and the movies didn't help at all.
Well now, let's just see if there's anything missing.
But luckily for you, there's this app called the Aim High app, at least for those of you who are joining the Air Force, and this app breaks down everything you need to know and prepare for basic training. Because in basic training, there's some tests that you have to take. You have to take a knowledge test and you got to take a PT test. Both of those you should prepare for to become more competent. So when you get to basic training, you're more confident because competence equals confidence. But the second one, this one is a little bit harder to digest. When I went to basic training, I went to basic training with a lot of negative thoughts. I didn't have much belief in myself. I didn't have much confidence in myself. I didn't even think I was that smart when I went into the Air Force. This all stemmed from when I was in the 8th grade. I was put into algebra when I was in the 8th grade. I did not do well in algebra. I used to zone out and doodle and stuff in algebra, and I ended up failing that class. I had to retake algebra in the 9th grade. When I retook it, I barely made it through. I think I got like a 75 at the end of the year. So in my mind, I'm not that smart. And that kind of dictated the rest of my high school years until I came into Algebra 2. I had a teacher who at the beginning of the school year said, "If you don't do your homework, I'm calling your parents." So she basically held me accountable. And in holding me accountable, I was doing my homework every night. There was a lot of stuff that I didn't know, but I figured it out. I go from having a 75 in Algebra 1 to scoring 100 in Algebra 2. I did so well in Algebra 2 that she said that I should be in AP Algebra. And in my mind, I'm like, me? And it's all because I was held accountable and somebody believed in me, but I still did not believe in myself because I had a lot of negative thoughts. And these negative thoughts basically formed from the results of my life. In high school, I was a C student. I wasn't that fast. I've never been that athletic. The only thing I thought I was good at before joining the Air Force was making music. So everything outside of making music, I did not have positive thoughts. So I go into basic training, I'm not confident, and instead of showing that, I showed this attitude because that's how I dealt with things. If I didn't get something, I would just show an attitude to act like I didn't care. And this ruined my time in basic training. All the negative things that I spent time thinking about how bad basic training was gonna be, I experienced all of that. But I remember we were marching and we were singing this Jody. I don't remember that Jody. I think it was like, "I'm a steamroller, baby," something like that. And I remember marching and this chill kind of went up me and I started feeling like this feeling of like, I can do this. And so out of nowhere, I kind of cracked this smile. Remember, I'm feeling good and my TI was like, "Come here." And I know it's me. Like, I know it's me. Out of everybody in the flight, there's like 50 of us. I know he can see me. But instead of coming out, I just act like maybe it's somebody else. And he was like, Reed, come here. So I come out and he was like, why are you smiling? I can't tell him, sir, I got this chill up my spine. I was feeling good. So I just like, I don't know. And he was like, well, since you think something funny, I'm gonna have you stand on the side and you're just gonna smile until I tell you to stop. So I go from this really good feeling to now I'm pissed off. Now I'm marching down the street with a smile on my face. Do you know how much attention you get when you got a smile on your face in basic training?
What's wrong with your lip?
I was born with big gums, sir.
Yeah, well, you better tuck that in. Gonna get that caught on a tripwire.
But I made it through basic training. I scraped through. But as life went on, I started learning that I could control my thoughts. I learned that I can focus on a higher image instead of a lower concern. And so instead of thinking from all the results of my past life, C student, not fast, not athletic, barely made it through basic training, I started seeing myself differently. I started talking to myself differently. And I started shaping this new version of me. And this isn't me on like some hocus pocus stuff. Like, there's science behind this. There's this thing called Hebb's Law. I'm not gonna go too deep into the science, but basically, the more you think about something or the more habits that you do, the more you start to wire that into yourself. So if all you do is talk negative to yourself, then you start wiring in a negative mindset.
Why? I've been to a million auditions, and the same thing happens every time, where I get interrupted because someone wants to get a sandwich, or I'm crying and they start laughing, or there's people sitting in the waiting room and they're like me but prettier and better because maybe I'm not good enough.
Yes, you are.
No, maybe I'm not.
Yes, you are.
Maybe I'm not.
You are.
Maybe I'm not.
You are.
But you can change it though. It's easy to change. You just got to start changing the way that you talk to yourself. You got to start changing the way that you think. If I'm talking to you and this sounds crazy, it's probably because you have a lot of negative thoughts. I'm not trying to attack you, but just try it. Try it for 30 days. Try positive thinking. YouTube, positive affirmations. Either you listen to them and you say them back out loud, or you write them down. However you want to do it. You want to write your affirmations, you want to say them. Try it for 30 days. And see how it changes your life. This isn't the only thing that I've learned over the years. Matter of fact, there's a lot over my 18 years of the Air Force that have changed me. And if you want to hear some more things that changed me along the way, I got a video on the screen right now that'll break all that down. But like I always say, I hope this video brought value to you. Stay beautiful, stay classy, and until next time, check me out.